A Massachusetts Broadcaster's Station of the Year. This is Western Mass News at 6 p.m.
This kid was the single most kind-hearted kid you'll ever meet.
Heartbreak in Deerfield tonight as that community stops to mourn the death of a high school senior.
Mayors in 2 Western Mass communities are speaking out after Pittsfield makes the decision to cancel indoor dining. I'm Audrey Russo and I have the details just ahead.
And a number of arrests in West Springfield ends with the recovery of a stolen car. We have the details next.
We begin tonight with developing news as a community is in mourning for the death of a senior at Frontier Regional High School in Deerfield after a car crash that happened earlier this morning. Welcome to Western Mass News on this Friday, everyone. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. 2 other former students were also in the car. Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane is live in Deerfield with more. Lindsay?
Chris and Jordan, the students are not being publicly identified at this time, but a memorial was created for the student whose life was tragically cut short. I spoke with his friends and they say he was a one-of-a-kind person.
He just loved life. He loved life. Enjoyed every single second of every day.
Hearts are heavy in Deerfield after a Friday morning car crash took the life of a senior at Frontier Regional High School.
This kid was the single most kind-hearted kid you'll ever meet. Also, as well as probably the most misunderstood kid you'll ever meet.
The victim is not being publicly identified at this time. Friends gathered at a makeshift memorial bringing flowers and cards to the high school on Friday afternoon. Colin Boudreau says his memories with his friend have lasted over a decade and began on the Little League field.
I remember hitting it off a tee and he's on the team.
He says as they grew up, they shared a mutual interest in cars.
He could turn wrenches. He could work in a garage real well. And if you need your speakers in, he could do it.
Gabe Goczynski tells Western Mass News he moved to Deerfield when he was in the 1st grade. The victim was his first friend in town.
It took maybe 30 seconds of talking to him to really understand that he's a kind-hearted, down-to-earth person. He would do anything for anyone.
He says he wishes he told his friend how much he meant to him when he had the chance.
Don't wait to reach out to a friend, ask how they're doing, keep in touch, because people like that'll do anything for you. They're important and you gotta let them know that.
The 2 other passengers were taken to the hospital earlier today. We're told one is in serious condition and the other is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of this crash is still under investigation. Live in Deerfield, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Lindsay, thanks for that live report. New developments out of MGM Springfield. Officials tell Western Mass News the number of employees issued warn notices has increased from 250 to 273. Casino representatives tell us this doesn't necessarily mean more than 270 will be losing their jobs, but some may see hours reduced for up to 6 months. This comes after the governor ordered casinos and other entertainment venues to close their doors to customers at 9:30 every night.
Taking a look now at the latest coronavirus numbers in the state over the past 5 days. The Mass Department of Public Health reporting 2,674 new cases today. So that brings our total number of confirmed cases in the Bay State to 177,627. The state also seeing 27 more deaths. The statewide death toll now stands at 10,038.
New at 6, West Springfield Public Schools unveiling a schedule today to bring students back into the classroom and phase them into a hybrid learning model. It begins on November 23rd, a little less than 2 weeks from today. Grades up to 2nd grade will continue the same schedule prior to the October 30th closure and push back to remote learning. Grades 3 through 12 will then slowly work their way back into the school building on the same hybrid schedule. Parents not comfortable sending their children back to school will still be able to opt for the remote learning option. Information about busing schedules is expected to be sent out by November 24th.
Indoor dining has been canceled in Pittsfield, and it could be on the chopping block in Boston due to the statewide rise in COVID cases. But what about here in Western Mass?
Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo spoke with 2 local communities about whether this is a step they're considering. She joins us live now with more. Audrey?
I spoke with the mayor here in West Springfield, which is currently considered a high-risk community for the spread of COVID-19. And I also spoke with the mayor in East Hampton, which is currently a moderate risk. Both mayors say there are a lot of factors to consider before making the decision to cancel indoor dining. It was a privilege we worked so hard to earn back, eating indoors in a restaurant. COVID-19 closed down everything but takeout back in spring, and for a business like Memos, that move closed down a big percentage of their sales.
Dropped us all into about 15%.
And it wasn't until June that indoor seating became an option again for the businesses that pulled through.
It was a killer. I mean, we survived. We're one of the lucky ones.
But with COVID cases on the rise again, some communities are reconsidering whether it's still safe. Pittsfield deciding this week to close indoor dining, and 2 weeks ago, Boston's health chief said he was considering the same step if the surge continues.
To roll back indoor dining is really just taking one of those variables away, right? You try to control whatever you can control because you know the one thing you're not controlling is COVID-19.
Western Mass News spoke with East Hampton Mayor Nicole LaChapelle, whose community is considered moderate risk for COVID-19 spread. She says she's considering rolling back occupancy rates inside restaurants before closing them down to only takeout.
We're not there yet, but we're certainly, it's on the list. Everything is on the table as far as, no pun intended, to narrow back down.
In West Springfield, a high-risk community, the mayor says closing down indoor dining isn't feasible unless other surrounding towns did it too.
It would only damage our businesses without actually making an effect on the coronavirus.
He argues the situation is different than in the westernmost part of the state, where options are more limited.
Pittsfield, I think, is different in that they're one of the only cities out in Berkshire County, one of the large cities. So it's not like us, surrounded by 5 other cities, that taking a unilateral step would just hurt our businesses.
Mayor Reichelt also said that much of the COVID-19 spread in West Springfield doesn't come from restaurants, but from small gatherings and workplace settings. Live in West Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for that live report. 5 suspects are now in custody in West Springfield, caught driving a stolen vehicle out of Connecticut early this morning.
Police believe they're part of a larger group breaking into cars and stealing them in communities around Western Mass. The Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis is live for us outside the West Side Police Station with more. Leon?
Chris, Jordan, around 2 this morning near the intersection of Westfield Street and Meadowbrook Avenue, West Springfield police made a traffic stop. It was determined that the Toyota Highlander was stolen out of Niantic, Connecticut. The 3 men and 2 juveniles, all from Connecticut, were taken into custody. Also found a purse in the back seat that was reported stolen out of Ludlow and 8 cell phones. West Springfield police tell Western Mass News these 5 men could be part of a larger group suspected of break-ins in the area.
We believe this is an organized group. It's a multi-agency investigation, multi-state investigation. And we think that there's probably other crews that are involved in this, and this isn't just the only one.
Western Mass News has been reporting on a rash of car break-ins around Western Mass. Sergeant LaFrance tells Western Mass News people need to lock their cars.
People, I think, need to get into a habit or a routine at night to make sure their car doors are locked, but also not leave your keys in the car and not leave valuables in the car. Most of these break-ins, they're all unlocked cars, and if there's nothing in the car, they move on.
West Springfield police asked anyone with information related to recent car break-ins to contact them. Live in West Springfield, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
A follow-up now to a story out of Chicopee. One of the 2 children police say were missing has been found. Police tell Western Mass News that 11-year-old Winter Schaefer, there on your screen, has been located, but they are still searching for 15-year-old Crystal Badillo. The 2 girls ran away from their program on Wednesday. Badillo was last seen near St. James Avenue in Springfield. Now, if you have any information on her whereabouts, you are asked to contact Chicopee Police.
We have a consumer alert for you now. Kohl's is recalling Sonoma Goods for Life 3-wick candles because they're a fire hazard. These are a few of the 30 models and scents involved. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the candles were sold between December of last year and October of this year. CPSC says consumers have reported high flames, breaking containers, and minor burn injuries, as well as some minor property damage. It says that people who have the Sonoma Goods for Life 3-wick candles, again, some of those scents being featured on your screen, should return them to Kohl's for a refund or store credit.
Well, we did have a dreary day out there today and a chilly one, too. Temperatures only making it into the lower and middle 40s this afternoon, a high of only 43 in Springfield, only slightly warmer in North Adams. Now, as far as the rainfall amounts, just emptying out the gauge here, we had close to about 17 hundredths of an inch, and I think that's where most folks ended up today, between about 1 and 2/10. And so not a soaking solid rain, but definitely not nothing out there today. So tonight, the rain has come to an end. We do still have some low clouds, especially through the higher terrain. In the valley, cloud cover might be trying to break up just a little bit, but some fog is going to be possible overnight. Temperature and dew point both at 41, so that relative humidity is maxed out and breezes are on the lighter side. Temperatures are hovering in the low 40s right now for just about everyone, but once we can start seeing some of that sky clear a little bit, we are going to be dropping back into the 30s. We'll keep a bit of a breeze through tomorrow morning, especially through the high terrain, and I think you'll have some patchy clouds there. And temperatures fall close to freezing to start off your day. And then as we progress into the afternoon, maybe you're trying to sneak out onto the course while you still have a chance. It is going to be blustery with wind out of the northwest, gusting up to 20 miles an hour. Temperatures, though, back to near normal.